Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to my evening news report right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. As you know, a lot of people came back to work from the holiday break, and 2019 is off to a busy start at the New Hampshire State House in Concord, New Hampshire. It was a busy day today. We have new laws for 2019. Lawmakers voted today on a deadly weapon, and Governor Gov Sununu will be sworn in for second term tomorrow. Let's begin and talk about the new laws for 2019 in New Hampshire. The new year means some new laws taking effect in the Granite State. The New Hampshire minimum wage to get married is now 16. That is up from 13 for girls and 14 for boys. The push for a change in law came from Barrington College freshman turned state rep Cassidy. Another marriage related bill also takes effect January 1st. It states that judges shall not sign off on marriages involving a person under the age of consent unless there is clear and convincing evidence the marriage is in the child's best interest. Other new laws taking effect with the new year include key changes to New Hampshire's expanded Medicaid program take effect. The program previously used Medicaid funds to purchase private health plans for low-income residents, but in reauthorizing the program for another 5 years, lawmakers decided to change its structure to a more cost-effective managed care model. The plan also imposes new work requirements on enrollees and uses 5% of liquor revenues to cover the state's cost as federal funding decreases. A ban on therapy that attempts to change the sexual orientation or gender identity of minors is now in place. Opponents argued there was no evidence such therapy happens in the state and that state licensing boards already have the authority to regulate and discipline any practitioner who uses Corvine tactics. Supporters of the new law said that therapy is inappropriate, ineffective, and harmful. A similar measure failed in 2016. A 100,000 death benefit for surviving family members of teachers and other school employees killed in the line of duty has been established. While there have been no mass shootings in New Hampshire schools, supporters argued that such incidents elsewhere have turned teachers into first responders, and they deserve the same death benefits given to police officers and firefighters. The 100,000 would be on top of whatever other retirement benefits the employee had earned. Ban on wildlife trafficking is now in place. The law prohibits the trade of products derived from protected species such as elephant, ivory, and rhino horns. Such trafficking is already outlawed between states. Individual states control trade within their borders. Reductions to the state's business profit tax and business entrepreneur tax take effect a few days into 2019 on January 4th. The profit tax will drop by 2.5%, while the enterprise tax will drop 11%. Republican Governor Chris Sununu says the cuts will help continue moving the state's economy in the right direction, and he will push for further reduction in the future. New Hampshire's money laws are changing with the start of the new year, and lawmakers say they hope the new system is less voluntarily. Ultimately, changes that are part of Senate Bill 71, which passed this year, went into effect on January 1st. The changes include a formula to determine how much a person paying hourly must contribute to the payee. As of January 1st, drivers who stay in the left lane on the highway can get a ticket or be fined if they are impeding the flow of other traffic. Lawmakers vote to ban deadly weapons from the State House floor gallery. New Hampshire lawmakers voted Wednesday to restore a rule banning deadly weapons on the House floor and gallery. The new rule passed on a 220 to 163 vote. Ruby Carr said the rule change needed to happen, liking it to prohibiting guns in schools. It's essentially the same thing. This is a public building where there are security guards keeping people here safe, and there's no reason you should have a gun here. Ruby, a junior at Cobrown Northwood Academy, said. Supporters of keeping the old rule in place rallied outside the State House prior to the vote. Republicans and others who pushed through the rule change allowing members to carry urged the Democratic majority to maintain the status quo. Supporters of the rule warned changing it could be a bargaining of an assault on the perceived rights of gun owners. If you don't think members of the House are allowed to carry, what's their opinion on people of the state being allowed to carry in other public places or even in private areas? Swanee said. Governor Sununu to be sworn in for second term tomorrow. Governor Chris Sununu will be sworn in Thursday for his second term as governor of New Hampshire. The inauguration ceremony and the governor's speech can be seen live on WMUR TV and streaming live above this article on WMUR.com and inside the WMUR mobile app. And we will be sure to bring you that live stream once it begins tomorrow. An inaugural address, Sununu to urge spirit of cooperation with Democrats' legislative majority. After being sworn in for a second term Thursday, Governor Chris Sununu will reach out to the new Democratic majorities in the State House and Senate and focus on key areas of public health, particularly as they relate to children and youth. According to an overview released Wednesday by the governor's office, Sununu will cite the high rate of hereditary cancer in New Hampshire. A study last summer by the Federal Center for Disease Control and Prevention found that between 2003 and 2014, New Hampshire had the highest rate of hereditary cancer in the entire nation. According to that study, there were 816 cases of hereditary cancer in New Hampshire recorded between 2003 and 2014. That's a rate of more than 205 per 1 million, which has the highest rate in the United States. Sununu will also discuss ways to address the state's high rate of youth suicide. He will call for continued intervention educational initiatives and continued tax relief, his office said. Some Democrats want to repeal the business profit tax cuts enacted in 2016 under the budget signed by former Governor Maggie Hassan in additional BPT cuts that took effect on Tuesday under the budget signed in 2018 by Sununu. According to expertise, his speech released by his office, Sununu will show recognition that dominance in the state's legislature have changed drastically, with Democrats holding a 223 to 167 majority in the House and a 14 to 10 majority in the Senate. In November, the voters of our state set us on a path that requires that we as state leaders come together, embrace a spirit of cooperation, and work together to get things done for the people of New Hampshire. They deserve nothing less, Sununu will say. The reality that Sununu is expected to mention that the Democrat majorities are not veto-proof, with 268 votes in the House and 16 votes in the Senate required for the necessary two-thirds majorities to override vetoes. New Hampshire has set us here to conquer, to deliver results, he will say, according to the speech experts. There will be times when we will disagree, without a doubt, but let's do so in a way that is free from insult and personal attacks. We are here for a greater purpose, to represent the needs of our Constitution, disagree respectfully, and focus on moving forward in areas where we can find common ground. But Sununu will warn the state budget cannot and should not become a vehicle for political victories or policy-driven battles. The budget is a roadmap and responsible spending, not some partisan-driven political agenda. New Hampshire is better off today than it was 2 years ago. We have the lowest poverty rate in the nation. Business tax are at their lowest in decades, and more people are working than ever before. Citing what he views as legislative accomplishments that he had led or supported during the past 2 years. Sununu will mention full-day kindergarten, comprehensive child protection and welfare bills, and the new hub and spoke model, which he said will serve as a model for the nation in creating long-term solutions for the substance use disorder crisis. The inaugural ceremony is scheduled to begin at 11:15 a.m. Thursday, with Sununu's speech expected to begin at about 12 p.m. The inaugural ceremony and governor's speech can be seen live on WMUR and streaming live on WMUR.com and inside the WMUR mobile app. And we will bring it to you right here on the Riley King Network. And that does it for my evening news report right here on the Riley King Network. It was sure a busy day at the State House, and 2019 and the new year is showing a busy beginning in politics at the New Hampshire State House for lawmakers. I hope you all have a wonderful night, everyone. I'll see you back here tomorrow for another news report. Goodbye, everyone.